What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Vampy Book Club. We're gonna be doing issue 5. If you guys don't know, I have my main man with me, Delman, in the wings, waiting for us. What's going on, Del? Uh oh, not good.
Right.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
What's going on? What?
What's up, dude? What's going on? How's it going?
Not bad, man. Not bad. But we're doing issue 5. If you guys didn't know, issue 5 is done by one of our favorite artists, Frank Frazetta, and one of our favorite people. So it's actually kind of cool. He actually did this one on Mesa Night, and like if you guys haven't heard, I'm close friends with his granddaughter Sarah and Brittany and everybody, and his daughter Holly. But yeah, so he actually did this one on Mesa Night. Here, well, if you guys want to get a closer look at it, so we're going to be talking about this two stories today. But here's a closer look at what the original painting looked like. So that's what the original looked like. And then actually something cool, I found it in the catalog a while back. I actually like went to a shop, found this catalog out of he said he had got a Frazetta collection, found this catalog in there, and it actually had it for sale. And the the owner said it was probably from the 70s or 80s so when this catalog was made. So you could have bought this painting for $1,200 at the time, and then it got sold in 2013. Dell saw the price earlier, and it was, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, some big money.
Yeah, that's big money, and it's painted on Masonite, so it's pretty neat. If you guys want to get a up closer look, that's not the first one he's done on Masonite. He's done this cover on Masonite before. He's done this one, Creepy 15, and here's Holly actually has the original. So here's what the original looks like on the Masonite. So yeah, that's as big as it is, and it's on Mason. But if you actually go up close to this thing, you can actually see where he actually ripped it out of wherever he ripped it out from. Like the floor, they're not sure if he ripped it out from the floor or from the wall, but you can see it. Like if you actually look against against the frame, you can see the little like where he teared it from, like little pieces of it. So this is the up closer look at it. I mean, it's a hard surface to paint on, Masonite, because it absorbs paint. So it drinks paint up. So it takes a lot of skill to do that, man. So
Yeah, I can see like especially on the edges that there's it looks like a rough cut.
right, yeah. So it's not a rough cut. What Sarah had told me is he either yanked it up from the floor or he either yanked it from the wall. They're not sure if he yanked it from the basement wall or the basement floor. So you could just imagine him going to, damn, I'm out of freaking board or painter's board. Crap, I gotta I gotta go find something to paint on. Because so this is done on the same type of material. I'm not sure if this was the first cover or if this was the first cover he done a Mesa Night. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure which one came first exactly, but probably somebody in the comments is probably gonna go, "Hey, this one came first," so or whatever. But it was cool. It was cool to find all this information out. But so we're gonna be talking about the first story written by John. What is it? It's an Italian name. Francesco or something or another. But come to find out, that artist this artist on the first story actually worked for the CIA. So that was kind of cool to find out that he actually was illustrated for the CIA from 1963 to 1988. So he was an illustrator for, I guess, CIA pamphlets or something, or he worked for the CIA. I'm not sure, but it says he was an illustrator. So I'm assuming he illustrated a lot of their catalog, or their practice things or whatever it was. But that was kind of neat. And then Don get Don Garrett, the writer is Don Gasly, I think. That yeah, Don Gasly. So what did you think of the story, Del, after reading it for a while?
So yeah, so after I read the story, like kind of pretty much like we've been talking about. It does remind me of something out of like a from a TV show like Tales from the Crypt of Twilight or Twilight Zone. Overall, the story was okay,
Right,
and so something for a quick story. That was it
right,
started off, but yeah, okay, it started fine. Kind of showing that it was like she was like the woman in the story is a kind of like a local celebrity, in theater.
right,
She's like a theater performer, and nephew that was broke. Yeah, and pretty much that's his aunt, and she's a little bit of a cat lady. It's like the story got kind of showing us like he's plotting to pretty much try to set something up to it where he's included into the will so he could then end up killing her. Which is the story made sense,
right.
up
Made
until
s-
the
made
end.
made sense for
Yeah,
a little while because I read it and you read it the same. I read it probably earlier, like when I first had got this thing, and then I reread it again. Not until you mentioned it, I thought the ending was kind of funny too, but I didn't think so at first until you mentioned it again, and I reread it. I'm like, oh wait, this ending is kind of weird.
it just ending was kind of weird. It's just like because it
Yeah, like
shows him like going through like doing the whole thing, make sure he's included to the will and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden like once it gets to the end, he poisons his aunt to where she dies on stage.
right,
Yet the very last panel at the closing panel of the story, it shows that her cats attack him.
right,
It doesn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense why the cats were attacking him, and it doesn't show anywhere in the story like what if the cats liked him
right,
or I think it could have added a little extra to the
right,
story
right.
to explain why the cats attacked him at the end as the ant falls and dies on stage. It's like why did
But
they
it doesn't.
why did
Yeah,
they
it doesn't
attack
tell
him?
you like if the aunt was a witch or something or
Yeah,
nothing like that. Didn't explain
yeah,
what why the cats were attacking. But I mean,
yeah,
I liked John's interpretation of Vampy. I enjoyed his
yeah.
interpretation of Vampy. I
Yeah,
mean,
the artwork how Vampy's drawing this is actually very it's pretty nice.
right,
You artwork to where I expected to see from that
right,
time frame like the early 70s. So
right.
kind of goes with the time period. So still a decent artwork.
Yeah, the artwork's decent. And then, what would you rate the story, though?
Yeah, I'll give this a five.
A
Yeah,
five.
yeah,
You're being
to put
you're being nice.
it'd be it'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd just be nice because
Yeah.
it's just like overall was the story was okay up until the end, and then like that's
Right,
what
right,
killed me
right,
on the end. At the end, I was just like, all
right,
right, what? The end was just like, why? It's like why? It's like I seen a lot of good. It's like watching a movie, and then it's like
right,
starts off great. The build up is great, and then all of a sudden the end was
right.
just like,
Well, yeah. So Don,
why?
yeah,
Doesn't make sense.
yeah. Don, yeah, Don. On other
Yeah.
words,
Yeah, so that's that's
Don
like
dropped the ball on this one. Yeah, because
yeah,
at least he could have gave us a little
he
more
dropped it on this.
detail.
Yeah,
Yeah, could have gave us more detail at
yeah,
least.
yeah,
Like at this part, at least, like where he has the
exactly.
cats. Yeah, like at this part, why the cats are so attracted to the aunt, or why she has so many cats. Explain, and then it would make sense at towards the end of this. Actually, this might explain it here. I never noticed this panel here, but this panel might explain it. It might not be all in words, but the artwork might explain it a little bit. I'm just guessing, but maybe they're in a art. Oh yeah, like they're arguing about something or another, and the cats see them arguing. Maybe I'm
Well,
assuming.
it's like because from what I was reading here, it's pretty much like it's like pretty much the nephew was just like begging like
Right.
his aunt, like apologizing to his aunt, and begging for
Okay.
help, and then
Right.
like
So it
that's
doesn't it
why
doesn't so it doesn't really
yeah.
like, yeah, because I read it too, and I'm like, yeah, it still doesn't explain it, and then the cat's running away from him too. It looks like, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah, but it doesn't really.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I actually looking through it, it doesn't actually tell you. So I give it. You give it about a 5. I give it about a 4. I mean, if you didn't mention, if you forgot, if I did, I forgot about the end. If you didn't mention it, I would have went
yeah,
like I would have agreed with you and said 5. But yeah, I think it's a 4 because it's not. I mean, for the time frame, it's a pretty good, decent story for the time frame for what when it was
yeah, it's okay.
published. Yeah,
Exactly for when it was published, it was okay. It was an okay
right,
story, but
right,
it just could have been it could have ended a little bit better because it could have given a
right,
little bit more depth on what the cats because since the cats were drawn throughout the whole story,
right,
it could, what's the significance and importance
right.
between the
What
cats
what
and the lady.
what it makes me feel like it's the aunt was a cat lady. That's all it made it
Yeah,
feel. She's a cat lady,
exactly.
but it didn't explain why she was a cat lady, or it didn't like say, oh, she might be famous, but she was part witch or something. You know what I mean? Why the
Yeah,
cats
that's
would
it.
be attacking him at the end?
Because I was I was to be like honest about what I was expecting the story to go.
Uh-huh.
On this is where I was thinking it was gonna go.
Right.
It was gonna go okay. Like he tries to kill the ant.
Right.
He's thinking that he's gonna be on the will.
Right.
He kills his aunt, but only to find out
All the
he
cats are on
was
the wheel.
the cats are on the cats are on the will, but he was taken off.
Right. Right.
He wasn't put on the will, but all her fortune was going to the going to the cat. All her fortune was going to the cats.
Right.
Because we've heard stories about this
Yeah.
plenty of times in real
Multiple times.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, in real life that it's like a millionaires or a single person, and then they have a pet, and all the money gets left to the pet. Like there was
Right.
like some duchess somewhere. There was like even a Netflix series about it
Right.
that some duchess had like millions and millions of dollars and left all her money, left the estate. It was like a trust, left it
Right.
to the dog, and there
Oh
was
yeah,
like
I
a
remember.
yeah, it was like a German Shepherd, and
Right.
there's
Right.
like a
Right.
Netflix story about it. Gunther,
Yeah.
I think it was called or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a story. It
Yeah,
was like
I remember that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was
But
like
but
that's
not
where I was
not
expecting this thing to go.
yeah, but we didn't expect it to go where the cats attack him.
Yeah, it's like,
And no explanation why the cats are attacking him.
yeah, it's like a or like showing him sneaking around inside and
Right.
the cat's like
Right.
constantly following him, and then but then her responding, saying, "Hey," telling the cats to stop or whatever.
Right.
It's like what, there's no explanation.
So what did you think of the art?
That's the only thing. I think the art. I give the art like a overall. I give it like a 7.5 overall. 7.5, pretty decent.
Yeah, I give it about a 7.0 ish, because I give it a 7. I give the front Vampy here probably about a 5. You know what I mean? I think honestly, I think John rushed it up front, and he had a little more time towards the end because the art's good. I give it like you said, I give it like a 7.0. But I like his Vampy at the end better than I like the front one. I guess he does
Yeah, yeah,
side perspective better than he does, when she's actually looking at you.
yeah. So yeah, towards the end, I agree. I agree. The last panel, it
Yeah,
looked pretty good. It
yeah.
looked pretty good.
It
A
looks
lot
like
better than the opening panel.
yeah. It looks like he had a little more time on this panel. It looks like, you know what I mean. You could tell like where he had, where he had more
Yeah,
time,
absolutely.
and yeah, like these like the bigger panels looks like he had a little more time. You know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, story wise,
Yeah,
yeah, you were nice. I gave it a 4 because after rereading it and actually you bringing it up, I'm like, yeah, I'll give it about a 4. Yeah, but for the time
yeah.
frame, for the
So
score for the time, yeah, score for the time frame, it's a pretty decent story.
yeah. It's not like terrible. It's just
Right,
it was just liking a little bit.
right,
So it's like a little bit of a plot hole.
right.
That's all. I just need for me. I just need a little explanation on why.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of specific. A little bit more character building would have been nice, but you know,
Well, if you
it's
got yeah,
I guess it kind. I guess what the books for the books at this period is like
yeah,
it was just multiple stories in a magazine. So
yeah,
and me used to sit reading comics or
yeah.
looking at or watching movies.
Right.
At least it gives a little. I'm so used to a little bit more character building and
Right.
showing me
And
why.
plus, but just think about it. Our brain is set for time frame now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Imagine if you were a kid at that or a teenager at that time, no internet, no, you know what I mean, nothing, and just this. I mean, and the story wise, it's. I mean, if we're, I mean, grading with our brain now, we give it a 4. But if let's just say we were back then, if we were good, well, no, you know what I mean, nothing, no. Well, I mean, we still had movies, but but you know what I mean, like grading with that type of mind frame, it's it's a 4 for me now. But I mean, if we were younger back then, I don't know, but it's
yeah,
a 4.
yeah. But I don't know. I
Yeah,
guess it's just where my head goes. Is like
yeah.
even from just reading comics and just or another guy
Hmm.
or just like another thing I like watching movies and stuff like that a lot.
Yeah,
Like or movies or TV shows. It's just like I just
right.
prefer a little bit more character building,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
or explain to me why you know especially the woman the female character is like okay is she okay she's a cat person okay why
right.
what's
Well,
the significance of her pets and all that stuff just a little bit more and that's it.
well, if you guys want to read it. You know what I mean? Go right ahead. If you guys can find it online or whatever, or if you guys will want, I can, screenshot it and you guys can read it or whatever, or you guys can screenshot it, read it, see what you guys think of the story, and let us know what you guys are gonna grade it. Because me and Del graded a 5, the story. I graded a 4, but art wise, me and him agree on the art. It's at least a 7. At
Yeah,
least. Yeah,
that's
at
right.
least a 7. At least a 7. But now we're on to the next story about yeah, we're on to the next story. And it's actually from the cover. And it's the kid, everybody knows what the cover is, the caveman cover or whatever. And this one's actually done. The artist is actually Billy Graham, and he was the first Marvel African American artist hired by Marvel. And here's the picture of Mr. Graham. So he did Black Panther, Heroes for Hire. That's what he's kind of known for. Like what he's really known for is being the first African American artist hired by Marvel. Pretty much, that's what his big title is. Pretty much, it seems that's what it seems like. Not just him being, he writ the Black Panther, he written all those other characters too, but the biggest headline on his thing was first Marvel, first black artist hired by Marvel was his big thing on his thing when I looked him up. And then it's done by the same writer from the last one. So we can kind of figure. Let's hope this ending is better.
Yeah. So yeah. So this is a cool, to me. This is a kind of a cool story. At least it was a more like kind of like I look at it as like caveman
Right.
land of the lost
Right.
type of thing. And the reason why I say it's land of the lost because like even throughout the story, you see these two, this caveman and cave woman, you know, running from an erupting volcano. There's like I think there's like an earthquake,
Right.
or earthquake caused by the volcano, and only to come across a couple dinosaurs. So that's why I kind of think of it as the land of the lost because you see like a triceratops and another dinosaur there, which is cool. They just pretty much like a pretty basic, very simple, basic story. They're just running to seeking cover and getting away from danger, as well trying to keep an eye out for each other. It shows the man. There's like a panel he has because he's carrying looks like a man, like a hatchet or a hammer that he makes out of like a stick and a rock.
Right.
And he actually kills one of the dinosaurs too by whacking it in the head.
Oh yeah.
The ending. Yeah, you see like the top the middle one. You see like he's whacking, like he's gonna whack something. He's gonna like he whacked one of the dinosaurs.
I mean,
and it's like, oh, cool.
I enjoyed the story this time around. I enjoyed this one a little more.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one a little bit better because even with the ending, okay, they see a cave,
right?
They see a cave, and they go, they think only to find out they really walked into the mouth of like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right.
So I was like, not quite.
Right.
Not only as they're trying to run away, they're running away from danger, but they ran straight into danger.
Right.
So the ending was a little bit better. It's like an ironic ending. So
yeah, ironic ending. Yeah,
to
for
me,
sure.
I enjoyed it a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah, so I enjoyed.
I think I think Don's writing on this one was a little better on this one. I think Don's writing is more adventure-esque. He likes to write it seems like he likes to write adventure but better because him writing like a horror mystery type one like the first story was not not it. But this one I can give it a little better. But for what it is, Billy's art's actually really good on it, I think. It's just his one thing I didn't like was one of these panels. Let me see. Right here. Where he shaded it a little too dark. It looks like on this panel right here, on the like on this corner, like it looks like he shaded the guy's face a little too much, or maybe he had like he did it with black ink, or it could have been the printing of the story or whatever, but it looked like
it could have been. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it's a little dark. Yeah, if you talk about the bottom right, the bottom right corner.
Yeah. So, that's the only issue I had. It was like it was a little weird. I'm like, why is his face so dark in this one? You know what I mean? I'm like, I was wondering why his face was so dark. Because if you look,
it came out a bit dark.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if Billy drew him as a African American character, though. I'm wondering. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like because it was black and white. It could oftentimes just from when I've seen artwork from that period, they would use gray, like some sort of gray, darken it up like a gray skin tone. Yeah, just to signify it's a darker complexion.
Right.
If there's no grayscale on it, then that's just showing that the person. But if it's something like a brown or a black person, it's like they'll make like different shades of gray to show like that it's some sort of like ethnic person or whatever.
Right. I got you. But it's a,
Yeah.
did you think of the muscles were a little weird on him? Like his muscles on muscles?
Yeah, yeah, but I get it because they kind of showing
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
like a
yeah.
lot of times in stuff that a lot of times in stuff that I've seen with like cavemen usually like they make these cavemen like extra buff and
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cut. Yeah, because look at Conan, look at the Conan
Re-
movie. The
No,
actual Conan the Barbarian. He's like
yeah.
a
I
big
I
giant
get
muscle.
it. I
Yeah,
get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get it. But
yeah,
sometimes like this panel here where he's standing and he's his back's facing us,
yeah.
like he has muscles on muscles. You know what I mean? It's like it, I understand that it's supposed to be fantasy, but but it looks like his back is growing like not they don't look like muscles. They look more like gross on his back. You
Yeah,
know what I
so,
mean?
he made it more, definitely very a little bit more defined. As like
Yeah,
as
yeah,
far as back muscles, it definitely is like really cut.
yeah,
No
yeah, yeah.
body, no body fat type
I
of thing.
understand, but like
Well,
some of
but
it,
yeah, yeah. So I guess maybe his frame of mind was like for the time for what he was the story that he was drawing here. Okay, it's like
right,
these cavemen, these cave people are kind of like a lot of animals.
right, low body
They
fat.
when they yeah low body fat, but when they get food, they'll like eat as much as they can,
Right, right,
and
right.
then keep moving and stuff like that to where they find food, and then they'll get full. Maybe go a couple of days without food until they find something.
Uh
So
yeah,
kind of like a yeah. That's what I'm thinking. It's like he's trying
yeah,
to keep it like that fantasy type. Like they may go a couple of days without food, so
yeah.
they really don't have time to be fat.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. After I mentioned the shading again, I forgot about this panel too, where he actually shaded him like a shadow almost in this one.
Yeah, it's pretty dark in this too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
I
see on the
mean, I
bottom. It's
can.
pretty dark.
Oh, yeah, but
Or
now,
even on
yeah,
Vaparella's back too. If you look at
yeah, yeah.
Vaparella's back, it's like kind of
Eh,
dark.
but now looking at it, the main reason he could be so dark is from the soot from the freaking volcano. So
Yeah, that's it.
that explains why he would be so dark. And
Yeah,
then
that's it.
yeah, yeah. But Vampy, I mean for Billy actually drew Vampy pretty deep. I like Billy's interpretation more than I liked John's interpretation of her though.
Yeah,
Like he he could draw his women though, for sure.
yeah,
Be-
absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, story was good. You know what I mean? It was decent. Um, artwork wise, what you giving it? You gave the last one a 7. What you
Yeah,
giving this one?
I get this one. I get this one a 7 also because it's
7,
yeah I do enjoy it. I think it's
7.
pretty decent. Yeah, and for
Yeah,
the story,
right,
yeah,
right. I'll
yeah,
give
for the
it.
story.
Yeah, I'll give it about. Yeah, I'll give it about like a 6, a 6.9, almost 7. Because I had some issues with you already know what I had. We already talked about what issues I had was it was his shading was a little too dark. I don't know if it was his shading or I don't know if it was printing or whatever it was, but he's a little dark. But I'm gonna look at the raw copy and see if it's the same thing. If the maybe it's maybe it's a print, maybe it's the digital scan of it. Don't know, but
Yeah,
you know what
maybe
I
it's
mean.
scanned in. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe just scanned in kind of dark.
we're right.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but that's why I'm giving it a 6.9 because I almost a 7. But what do you rate the Vampies? Right.
Pepe was cool. I like this one a little bit better than the from the previous story. Yeah, she was drawn out pretty nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
So I rate his Vampy at least the 8. I liked them. I liked her. I liked his Vampy a little better.
yeah,
At least
I'm right there with you on that one. Yeah,
yeah, at least the 8 because she's actually kind of Betty Page esque on this on the like at the end panel right here. So that's kind of cool.
yeah,
Where he
yeah,
had her sit like this on top on the first panel, like right like that, like sitting like that on top, and then had
yeah.
her. That's good. I mean, for sure. Like I said, 6.5. You know what I mean? Art wise. What about story?
Story, I would definitely give this one like to me it's like a solid 7.5. It was pretty decent.
7.5,
It's like there's
7.
yeah,
Yeah,
7.5. Yeah, solid 7.5.
7.
Because at least
Yeah,
the story
May,
made sense.
right, right,
There was like a it was a very simple story,
right,
which is fine. I'm okay with the simple story, but at least there was all right. I know what they were doing.
right, right,
It was a good progression to the story. All right, they were running from this, only to get to encounter a little bit of danger. Then he got away from that danger,
right,
and just with the little ironic twist that that they ran to the mouth of another dinosaur. So
right.
yeah,
That yeah, yeah. So you give it a 7.5. I give it a 7.0. I mean,
yeah,
I liked it. It was good. It was better than the last one. Like I
yeah, a
said,
lot better.
I think Don's writing on this one was a lot better. I think he can't write mystery like horror type. You know what I mean? He didn't. Maybe he didn't have enough time for the first one, and he had a little more time on this one where he could flush it out a little more. I don't know, but I thought it was a little, little interesting. So because it's the same writer from the first story, so it's kind of funny. You know what I mean? That's kind of funny
Yes,
that
which is I find it funny and just weird that
yeah,
so like with the one that kind of needed a little bit more character building, it shows like his writing style that if it's something that it just seems like a little bit something that needs a little bit more character building,
yeah,
he's not that's not really his strong point. But
right,
then the second story that he wrote
right,
something pretty simple and basic that didn't really need much character building.
right,
He did fine. It's like
right.
the comparison between the two I find to be a little bit more like night and day type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It's like two different stories. It's like yeah,
yes,
he was stronger on this one than he was on on the first one. So maybe he was getting his feet wet on the
yeah,
first one.
yeah. But that's just the way I don't know. I just look at it like for something I just like okay, it's like a quick little simple
Yeah,
adventure story.
yeah.
He does fine. But
Right,
when
right.
it's something that kind of needs a little bit
Yeah,
more character building
yeah.
to kind of tell a story tell a little bit more of a story.
Right.
It's not his strong point.
Nah, at all. And then plus it's kind of cool that they actually used. See, one good thing about the older books is whatever's on the cover, you actually get it in the interior story.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of
Well,
yeah,
exactly. I agree. At least the cover is related to something
right. Something
to this.
that's in the book.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah,
So
so what the one thing we haven't done is rate the cover, but the cover color is actually this because the freaking scan didn't scan it the right it scanned it a little too dark.
yeah, it came out a little darker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So who knows when this book was originally scanned into the computer? Maybe somebody
Right,
probably didn't have maybe didn't have a good
right,
scanner,
right,
and it was just like just it was a quick scan and it
right,
kind of has like a weird bluish tint to it. So
right. But if we were rating the cover by the normal colors it was supposed to be, what would you rate it?
I'll rate the cover. I really do like the cover because it's a very nice,
Right,
very cool cover. Nice,
right.
nice cover. I personally give it like a 9 because I
A
really
nine.
yeah I give it but yeah I kind of I do like that sort of like
Right.
lost
I'm
lost love.
yeah, I'm a fanboy of his, so I'm gonna give it a 10. You know that. You
Yeah,
already knew that was coming.
yeah,
I'm giving it a 10, but I give it a 10 because of the material he painted it on, masonite. It's like what I've heard from other artist friends that stuff absorbs paint really, really bad. So him actually getting something out of masonite in general is mind-boggling to me, man. Like that just gives it a 10 because of the material he painted it on.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That's
yeah.
the big reason I'm giving it a 10. All right, so we're now since we're talking about the covers. So we'll rate cover 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But you have to rank them by your most favorite. So 1 to 10, or 1 to 5 were your most favorites. Like which one is your top favorite, number 1, and which one is your least favorite of being number 5. And I'll bring up those covers if anything.
Yeah, so see here.
So cover 3.
Cover three
So
was okay. Cover three. Okay, now I remember
yeah,
cover
this
three is
yeah.
that one. Cover two was
Hold on. Yeah,
cousin evil you.
Everly's appearance. So this one. Hold on. Let me go down to it real quick. This one. Yeah, and then
All right.
and then the other cover was this one,
What's that?
number
Bring up issue
4.
4.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So these are the
Yeah, I know. We all know issue 1. So so
yeah,
you don't need to show
yeah.
it's vampy.
Yeah.
Very,
Issue 1, we
yeah,
know
so,
it's the famous moon, the moon and that is that has to be number 1 on mine. That because Vampy 1, number 1. But if I go by cover wise, number 2 would probably be this one for me. Whoops. Number 2 would be this one. That's
okay.
my preference. Number 2. My number 3 would be number 2 would be number 3. You know what I mean? Then my number 3 would be 4, and then because my least favorite cover is this one. You know what I mean? It's a little weird for me. So that's number 5 for me. Okay, your turn.
Right. So I would say I do like issue 2.
Right.
So I'll say that's like my. I'll put that one as number 1.
Number 1. Okay.
Yeah, I'll put that one. And I do like issue 1 as my second.
Okay.
Because it's like a very close second.
Right.
But because I do like Frank Frazetta art. All right.
Right.
Then I'll say issue 5 is my third.
Okay.
Then issue 5 is my third, and then I'll say issue 4 is my 4th, and then issue 3 is my last one.
Okay. All right. I can see it. But yeah, because I like the main reason I like this one a little more. I like it because I liked it a little more because it was the female was looked like a little more detailed in this one than this one.
Yeah.
Because you're not sure if it's a female or an alien. That's the thing. Because at least you could that one's a female. You're not sure if it's an alien or if it's whatever this thing is.
I guess you get. Well, it's like I do say I could definitely like this one. I could kind of tell it's a female side view, and you see the boobs.
Right. I'm not. Yeah. I think maybe it's the colors for me. Maybe that's the thing. It doesn't pop as much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like all the other ones. Like this one, really pops. This one really kind of pops off the cover a little. Number 1 especially because it's her first thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, but like number 5, issue 5. Overall, we rated it at the story wise was a 7. Rated the cover about. I gave it a 10. So we'll just meet in the middle and say not what I mean, a 9. You know what I mean? So so me and Del's cover is a 9. Story wise, both stories in there was about 7. So so you know what I mean? Depending on if you guys want to read this for your guys selves, you guys can, or if you guys ever want to jump in or even follow along, I'll leave it in the link. I'll leave it in the description below so you guys can follow along with us or whatever, but you guys let us know what you guys want to see from us because we got a lot of things in the works. and plus we're gonna be grading. We're gonna be grading stories. We're gonna be grading the stories now. We're gonna be, grading the art on it. Or we're gonna be grading, the covers, because I thought that was fun that I started it last week, and I'm like, I kind of like that. I want to see where me and your perspective are about story wise and about art. Yeah, so you know what I mean. That was neat. That's
Yeah,
why I
absolutely.
wanted to. Yeah,
Yeah, that's definitely a cool idea that
yeah,
we did that. That especially that you brought it up, Jeff, to start
yeah,
like, hey, let's what do you think? What the rating of the stories and the cover and the artwork, so which is
yeah,
very
yeah.
cool.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely, and yeah, so far it's like just some of these stories right now. So far, what I've read, it's like it's just reminding me of a few other
Yeah.
time period, stuff that I expect from that time period.
Well,
Also,
I'm excited. I'm excited for next week's because it's number 6, and it's the first. It's the first Ken Kelly Warren cover that Ken Kelly's done, and because if people don't know, it's actually, you know what I mean. We're gonna be going over issue 6, but I got a lot of good stories about issue 6, so you guys are gonna have to tune in for the stories for everything that we're going to be talking about issue 6. But I'm looking forward to see what Dell thinks about issue 6, because it's going to be fun because the actual story is actually in there. So we might be doing 2 stories from now on. So depending on depending on, actually, yeah, let's do 2 stories from now on. I think it's funner that way. We can at least then we can rate 2 stories.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, two stories. Yeah, that's yeah. We're good. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're gonna
Yeah,
do now. Is two stories now,
yeah,
from from that specific issue that
yeah,
we're reading about. So
right,
we're
yeah.
talking about.
Two
So two stories.
stories, or if you guys have ever read the issue and you guys want us to go over one, leave it in one of our videos and in the comments saying you want us to go over one of the stories in any of them. Just let us know,
Yeah,
and
just
we can.
chime in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, chime in. We
It's
always like
yeah,
to hear from everybody.
yeah. We always like to hear from our Vampy family here, or Vampy fans, or whatever. But if you
Yeah,
guys aren't a Vampy fan, maybe I can convince you to be a Vampy fan. That's what I'm trying to do to Dell, make him into a Vampy expert like I am, or maybe a close second.
yeah. I don't know, man. I think you're the especially here in the Tampa area. You are the guy to go to.
Right. But like I said, actually, I think all over, except for Canada. The guy, our friend in Canada, has me beat. He
Yeah.
has he has foreign editions of all the Warren collections, pretty much. So he has me beat. So, but I'm pretty close for the Florida area. I'm a pretty good expert.
Exactly. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I can tell you, some of the people that you and I both know
yeah,
that I've asked one other person, one of the LCS. You know which one the other one that's close to me.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, he tells me I had questions about a certain book, and he goes, why don't you just ask Jeff? You know Jeff, you're friends with him. Ask Jeff."
If
Yeah.
I don't know, I'll look it up and I go, "Hey, Dell, this is what's cool about this book." But most of the time, I might know it, or most of the time, I may not. But I'll find out, or
Yeah.
I know it, but it could be some. But like I said, these stories weren't bad. Like Dell was saying, like this one was a 7. It wasn't bad at all. It was just the freaking ending was a anticlimactic pretty much and didn't give us
Yeah.
enough explanation. That was the only problem, like I said. But we never did rate John's vampies. So let's rate his vampies at least. So his first vampy, I'm gonna be nice. I give it a 5, but I really don't like his this one. The one sitting
Yeah.
like with the fish with the cat. I really don't like
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? My least favorite vampy of of that one. But
Mm.
this one's a little better. I'll give it, this one's at least a 6. So
I'm pretty much right where you're at on that. So I
right,
agree
right.
with you.
yeah,
I'll give it a C score on that one
yeah.
with you.
Because yeah, I mean it's not bad at all. It's cool. It's just neat to see, and see the story and everything, and then here's her again at the end. You know what I mean? So like you said, see, this is fucking hilarious. I forgot about this panel where the cats are attacking him. I forgot all
Yeah,
about this panel.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
you see like if you go to the previous page,
yeah,
it just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
shows the ant dying on stage, and all of a sudden,
Right,
it jumps to the next panel, and then it just shows the
yeah,
cats attacking him. It's like, okay,
right,
what? Why? I don't understand
yeah,
why.
yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah, and then
that's
it
it. Just
jumps to the next story, so it's kind of funny. It jumps to
yeah,
the cover story then.
yeah.
So, but
No,
it's funny because
yeah,
what's hilarious is it's done. Both stories is done by the same writer. That's what's funny because
yeah. So,
if you look at the previous issues, I don't think the writers are on there like. I mean, there. I think Sutton was on book one twice. I think Sutton. Yeah, I think Tom Sutton was on there twice. I think. But yeah, but it's rare to see him in the magazine twice. You know what I mean? The different writer, but two different stories at that.
yeah,
You would assume he would write something similar to the first one. You would
yeah. It's like,
think.
even though it's the second story that he wrote in this issue, like I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
even though it's a very
Yeah.
simple basic story, it made more sense from
Right.
beginning to end. It just made more sense. So it just from beginning to end, it's just like I said, can't say it enough. It made 100 times more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Honestly, this one, I like this story way better than I like the first one.
yeah,
So like we were telling you guys, we're gonna be going over in two stories now on each episode. So it's gonna be a little more fun, a little more interactive. If you guys want to interact with us, you guys have to tune in and interact and let us know what you guys think. Even if you guys watch it on a rewind, let me know what you guys think of the art. You guys can still see the art on the page or on the video. So just let us know what you think of the art, or if you guys can get a hold, get a hold of these things digitally. Let me know, what you guys think of the art. Let me and Del know, in the chats, in the description below, and you guys already know, you guys got to hit the like button, got to hit the subscribe button if you guys never been on
like and
this chat.
subscribe, like and
Yeah,
subscribe.
yep. On our Vampy book clubs, I want to get some more more eyes on this because I really enjoy doing this with Dell, and Dell's loving it because I'm we're talking, dude. Who else? Nobody else online explains the cover, and then and then this stuff, all the little stuff behind the cover. Like nobody knew that this cover was, this painting was for sale in honestly in the 70s for $1,200. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, yeah, nobody knew. I forgot all about it until I scroll through my pictures. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember taking a picture of this. But the actual catalog I gave to Sarah because I thought it was kind of a neat, imprint of history of her grandfather's history. So it was like you could have got like a little sketch. Like I think when I looked through the catalog, you could have got a little sketch from him for $50 back then. So, but that's a lot of money back then, though, in the 70s, man, because the minimum wage wasn't at what it is at now. So,
yeah.
so, but it was a lot of money back then. But $1,200, and it went to, like me and Del were saying, it went to this. Whoever sold it. I'm wondering if the family bought the painting back. You know what I mean? I'm wondering if they paid that much to buy the painting back. I'm curious because I've seen pictures in the Philly Museum or in Strasbourg in the museum in Strasbourg. I've seen pictures. I'm wondering if this is the actual one, and if he bought the painting back from whoever bought it originally.
Mm.
And I'm wondering if it's. I'm hoping to go up to Strasbourg eventually. Me and Del should make it a trip one day up to the Frazetta Museum up there.
Oh, the one in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like yeah, when I take my vacations, I always take my vacations in December. So
yeah. So
so,
maybe we should plan it for 2026.
Yeah,
and we can bring you guys along and call it the Vampy Book Club adventures.
exactly. So yeah, I could
So
figure something out on that one. Yep.
yeah. So it'd be kind of fun. But yeah, man, like I said, man, we're gonna be doing this a lot more. We're gonna be doing. I'm gonna try to do 100, all 113 issues. If Dell doesn't get sick of me, and if Dell doesn't get sick of these, we're gonna be doing the whole run of the Warren run. But if you guys want us to do, some preview, some newer stuff or whatever, or you guys want to get some good reading material for Vampy, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on anywhere. You guys all got you guys all know it's the Cantonese Comic Kid everywhere. So just hit me up there and ask me what good, the good reads are, her good reads are. But we're working our way to them though, because there's a couple of good storylines in the Warren run. It's just we're slowly trekking through it because we don't get, like I told you, we don't get her back until issue 8. So
Right.
we're slowly working our way up there. But so we got to me and Del got to truck through the mud, man, before we get back to Vampy.
Okay. We're getting there one issue at a time. That's all we
Yeah,
can do.
one issue at a time. If you guys are enjoying it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, share it. Share Vampy Book Club with everybody if you guys can. I want more eyes on this. I want some more attention on this because I really enjoy doing this with Del. And if you guys want to join in, hit me up on Instagram, the Cantonese Comic Kid, or like Del likes to call me, the Cantonese Playboy, because I like to hang, I like to hang around the cosplayers, all the ones that dress up as Vampy. So,
Exactly.
but you guys all know we got some great stuff in the works for Vampy Book Club. So, and then me and Del are just signing out, guys. So we'll see you guys later.